Excuse me, we here? Yeah, let's get straight to it. I'm right back at you like I never left, and I'm gonna go this hard to my last breath. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanoon Consul Moon. You already know what you're gonna give me. Step in this room, you're now dealing with Kanoon. Yeah, I'm here. And while I'm here, I'm gonna make the information direct and clear because a lot of y'all can't hear. Yeah. Welcome back to Make My Ancestors Great Again. This is another episode of According to the Bible. This is According to the Bible, part 20. This started from Bible verses on My Thoughts 274, I believe. About September 3rd, I read a scripture, Exodus 22:29, and I said, and I even did did you know, a short video pertaining to the same subject. I said God asks for the firstborn of everything, the firstborn sheep, goat, whatever you get your hand on, lamb, your first, the first part of the fruits, the first part of the vineyard, the wine, all that. He wants it all for sacrificial purposes. Okay, for a sacrifice, you can either use it as a burnt offering, but the animals are to be killed and then used as a burnt offering. That's the way it was in the Old Testament. Okay, now a lot of people came up against that and said, they went into Google, which they didn't have Google, and said that this means something else. So we're going to clear all that up today. This is According to the Bible, part 20. Basically part 1, and we're going to deal with Exodus 22:29, and we're going to clear all that up. Let's listen to the ancestors and we'll get straight to it. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I thank you for watching.
One thing you have to get through your mind and keep it. Nothing that ever came from the European mind was meant to do anything but facilitate European domination of the world. And I said there's no exception.
Now, again, that's the great ancestors, and may their soul rest, may their spirit continue to be lifted. If you want to refreshing yourself on this or what we're getting ready to speak about and clear up all week, you can go to According to the Bible. You can go to My Thoughts 274. I believe it was Wednesday, September 3rd. And I did a part on this, Exodus 22:29. Now, my point is, for people who went to Google and seen a backdrop or whatever, they trying to make some clarification so that this guy can have a soft landing, as if he doesn't murder innocent children or he does not call for the destruction, murder, and annihilation of innocent people. I want to clear that up. That's my key fact on bringing all this up. That's my key point in all this. Okay, God is a bloodthirsty, murderous heathen. Okay, tyrant, however you want to cut it, and I'm going to show you that. So let's get straight to this. These are the Bible verses. This is Exodus 22:29. This is what people had a problem with. It said, "Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give to me." That means sacrifice. That's simply what it means. Okay. Now, likewise shalt thou do with thy oxen and with thy sheep. 7 days it can be with his mother, but on the 8th day thou shalt give it to me. What he mean by give it to me means execute it for a sacrifice. Okay. Put it as a burnt offering, or slice his neck, break his neck, or present blood to me. It sounds horrible, African people, but this is how the story goes according to the Old Testament and the New Testament. Again, like I said, in I believe 1 Samuel 11:24 or one of those, a new covenant began with the death of a dead white man on the cross named Jesus the Christ. The Last Supper begins with the ending saying, "Take my body, eat, break it as bread," all symbolism, but this is a blood ritual or new covenant. "Drink my blood," and things like that. Okay, and it said this is a new covenant. So all covenants are blood covenants. Let's continue. People took a problem with that and said, "Oh no, he said give all that stuff, but he wasn't going to kill the kids," because when they went to Google, it gave them some back information on this. So I'm going to show you what they did. They said I was wrong. I took this out of context. This is what they did. They all went to Google It's very simple. I'm going to pull it up on my side. Okay. They went to Google. They put in, what does Exodus 22:29 mean? Okay. And it says right here, Exodus 22:29 instructs Israel to promptly offer God their first fruits from their harvest and wine, and to give him the firstborn of the sons. Okay, this is when Google attempts to soften the landing because they don't want to make God look like some crazy person. Okay, and to give their firstborn of their sons, as well as the firstborn of their livestock on the 8th day. This message is a part of the covenant codes, is generally interpreted as a call for consecration rather than literal child sacrifice. No, this Bible was written at a time to whoever could read. They were just learning how to read, but it was a literate what am I trying to say? Majority. So nobody can interpret this any other way than literate. Okay, a literal approach. So when he said, give me your kids, that's what they thought, okay, at that time period. But now that you have Google, they attempt to soften the landing and give you some old political standpoint or educational reasonings and switch it with scripture. But we're not going for that, okay? The message of consecration codes is generally interpreted as a call for consecration rather than literal child sacrifice, especially when considering verses like Exodus 34:19-20, which provides a redemption option for the firstborn sons. See this? It does mean literal sacrifice, but it says if you turn to Exodus 34:19, it provides you an option to redeem your firstborn son. Okay, now let's look at that. Let's go to Exodus 34:19. You can screenshot all this. I'm just showing you what they did. So I'm going to trace their steps and show you that this was a call for a literal sacrifice. That's all God ever wanted. He never wanted anything else. You hear me, African people? Now, this is Exodus 34:19. That's what it told us to go to. The firstborn of every animal belongs to me, including, this is New Living Translation, the firstborn males from your herds of cattle and your flocks, sheep, and goats. A firstborn donkey may be brought back from the Lord by presenting a lamb. Now, if you want your donkey back, you got to bring a lamb in this place, okay? If you don't bring a lamb in this place, let's listen. By presenting a lamb or a young goat. See, for the donkey, he'll take a young lamb or young goat for the same reasoning, sacrificial purposes, okay? But if you do not buy it back, you must break his neck. See, God ain't just going to let you come up with no shortcomings. Hey, I want that donkey back. But you're unable to buy it back. You have to break the donkey's neck. You hear me? That's how the story goes, African people. Let's continue. But if you do not buy it back, you must break his neck. However, you must buy back every firstborn son. No one may appear before me without an offering. So this gives you a redemption purpose if you're able to do so. Because it says right here, however, you must buy back every firstborn son. See? But the way it concludes, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you guys can see that. It says in the conclusion, however, you must buy back every firstborn son. And in parentheses, it says, no one may appear before me without an offering. So if you cannot afford, whatever way he's saying, you must buy it back. If you cannot afford to do so, that child will continue to go down the same sacrificial lamb. It's the lamb, the oxen, the sheep, the donkey, and all the rest of this stuff. It becomes a bloodthirsty gift offering of death for this silly ass God, okay? And that's just part one. Because we're going to deal with this. This is the prelim. This is preliminary bouts. This is not the heavyweight fight. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to show you part two to prove to you that when God calls for your child and anything else, he said, give it to me. That's exactly what he means. God don't shy away from destroying and brutalizing and murdering children. Don't act like this God has some soft spot in his heart for children. I'm going to show you all that this week. That's how the story goes, man. That's my thoughts on these videos. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Canoe, Consul Moon. You already know what you're going to get me. Step in this room, you're now doing Canoe. This is what I do, and I love to do it. And before I take back what I said, I add some up to it. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. If you feel like you want to do something for me, like and subscribe because it won't cost you a fee. Education and preparation is the first step to retaliation. So before you pick up a weapon or a silly religion, pick up some knowledge. This is according to the Bible, part 20. Basically, part 1 of the week. We're going to clear up Exodus 22:29. And will the Lord have the audacity to ask for a child sacrifice? That's how the story goes now. If anybody's offended by anything you heard, I mean every word. Yeah, yeah.